Hello, everyone. Welcome to the ninth episode of the fourth season of the Divine Rhapsody. And this is your friend, Falguni. So, the topic for this episode is grudges, as it was chosen by most of you, because I conducted this poll yesterday on my Instagram story, and you were asked to choose from 4 categories, and grudges was the most voted for. And honestly, when I saw the result, it broke my heart. No matter how much we've grown in life, no matter how far we've come in life, no matter how much we've endured and gone through in life, grudges are the hardest thing to get over. Grudges, the hardest thing to get over, to resolve. And what I've seen around me, in a lot of cases actually, when we don't get closure for a grudge, like if somebody has hurt us or betrayed us or misunderstood us, especially misunderstood us, when we don't get closure for what happened to us and why something happened to us, we resort to blaming ourselves. We think that probably it was our fault that this happened to us, because we look for closure and we don't always get it as to why this happened. So just to satisfy ourselves, we blame ourselves. We blame ourselves for, bringing it on to us. See, grudges are a byproduct of hurt, hatred, anger, betrayal, misunderstanding. When somebody's actions or words affect us negatively in a way that we are not able to get over or get past, a grudge is created within our mind. It's like a little negative box in our head. Everything that happened in that situation, all the memories, all the information that we have, we put inside that box. And even if we know that this box is not healthy, we just cannot seem to dump that box away. Like, get rid of that box. Getting over grudges is one of the hardest things to do, because the first step to resolving a grudge is forgiveness, which is really hard, because sometimes we think that the other person does not deserve our forgiveness. But that's when we must remember and tell ourselves that forgiving the other person is not about the other person. It is about us. It is a favor that we are doing to ourselves. Because somebody has hurt you, and you are crying yourself to sleep, and the other person doesn't even know. So how is holding on to a grudge healthy? How is it fruitful? How is it, adding in a positive way to your life? How is it transforming you into a better person? How is it making your life better? I know it's hard. I know. But ask yourself these important questions. Like, why do I need to keep this? The other person probably doesn't even know that I'm so affected by what they did or by what they said. And here I am, questioning myself constantly, looking for closure. Why did this happen to me? Why did I deserve to go through this? Did I deserve to go through this? We must realize that when somebody affects us in a negative way, it is often a reflection of them rather than a reflection of ourselves. So when you ask yourself why, you can never really know. And you're not even meant to. Why do you need to know the other person did that thing to you? Why? What's the point? What are you trying to look into that? What are you trying to gain from this question? Why? What's the point? If somebody did something to you consciously or unconsciously, intentionally or unintentionally, the act is done. That is the fact. What's done is the reality. What happened is the reality. Whys and hows does not. They don't matter. There's no gain in looking for those answers. What next is what you should be working on. And the first step is forgiveness. What I usually do when somebody hurts me, well, honestly, I used to hold grudges, but not anymore. I don't hold grudges. I protect myself. I understand the kind of person I am, and I very keenly observe the people around me. So based on that, I open myself up to them. I'm not scared of being vulnerable, honestly. I'm always myself. But how much do I need to reveal myself is what I control. See, when you open yourself up in front of people who are capable of hurting you, they will misuse that power. They will. And you might always not know that the other person is going to do that, and I understand. But forgiveness, it is a favor you do to yourself and not the other person. Or holding a grudge towards the other person is not going to make them pay for what they did. God and universe and nature is there. They have their own life to deal with, and karma will come back to them. That is inevitable. They will have to go through their lessons. It's inevitable. So trying to take control of how they pay you back is not the right approach. I don't think it is. I cannot control anybody's actions. What I control is how I perceive their actions and what I do with the pain that they have given to me. If somebody has hurt me, first of all, I think if the person is important in my life, plays an important role in my life, or has really hurt to me an extent that has kind of altered my life, I try to think, where did that come from? Not from within me, but from within them. Like if a person has said harsh words to me, I sit and I think, probably that person is stupid. Because you're definitely not supposed to talk to anybody like that. No matter what you're going through, you have no right to use foul language while addressing somebody else. So I think that person is a fool and I let it go. Because I cannot go around with a stick trying to teach them how to talk. That is their own problem. That is their own problem. I don't have to go around giving them lessons. That is not my work. And if somebody has done something to you that has completely changed your life, and you cannot just let it go, It's going to take time. But the most time, what's going to take the most time is forgiving them. Because you see yourself getting affected. Every part of your life is affected by what happened. Do you think that's healthy for you? That person did that to you once. And you are doing that to yourself every day. Holding on to what they did is not what you should do. What you're supposed to do or think about is what next. What has happened has happened. I will sit down and analyze how my life has changed. What has changed within me and around me. I'm going to take some time to think about that. And if I am not in the mental state to even do that, I'm going to distract myself till physically I feel better. I'm going to force myself to do the things that I love. I'm going to surround myself with the people who love me, who nurture me, who understand what I'm going through. And for the people who have gone through things and have been alone, I feel for you. I'm really sorry you had to go through that. People can do mean things to you. I know. But no matter how bad it is, no matter how deeply you're hurt or affected, how is it healthy to do it to yourself every day? Opening that box every day. How is it healthy? You know, there's this one incident from school. I love singing, like I've said so many times. I love singing, okay? And I was sometimes asked to sing the morning prayer on my own, solo, for the whole school, before the morning assembly. And there were some students who were intimidated by that, probably jealous, you know. And there was this one specific girl who pushed me off the mic and sang the song. It froze me, you know, because I had never gone through something like that. Like this kind of hatred that she physically, literally pushed me. All the teachers were right there. My music teacher was standing. She was standing right there. She's no more. My music teacher, I loved her. Neelu ma'am, she's no more, but you know, that girl literally pushed me off the mic and sang the whole prayer on her own. And I was shocked. I couldn't let go of what had happened to me. And I always looked for moments to do the same to her, but I just couldn't. Because I wasn't that person. I couldn't push someone off the mic just because I felt intimidated. So that's what I'm talking about. When you start thinking of why, and when you see that what someone has done you, it is not a reflection of you. I did not do anything bad to her. She was intimidated, she was jealous. And that's not my problem. Taking the mic from me once didn't mean that she was taking away my voice from me. She took nothing from me. Nothing. I continued to sing again. Every day. And everyone loved it. My teacher loved it. See, we have a long life. When we are in the moment, living that painful moment, we think it's never going to end. But we have been through bad things in life, and we have come out of them. And even if you think that your life is completely altered, does not always mean that it's not going to get better. Especially betrayal. Betrayal. That is a very hard thing to come out of, because we give in everything, and the more we trust, the more there's the scope of being betrayed, the more deeply we are betrayed, right? The more trust we put into a relationship. It could be any kind of relationship. You have to take time. You have to give yourself time to process. It's just one brain. It's the same brain that is breathing, that is telling you that you're hungry, that is grieving, that is trying to get through life one day at a time. It is the same brain. It is not 2-3 brains. It is the same brain. So you have to understand that you are going through something. But one day you will get out of it. You have to remind yourself that every day. Because sometimes this sinking feeling is very comforting. It's just like when you're heartbroken, you like to listen to, it's very comforting to listen to heartbreak songs. It's very common when people are sad, they listen to heartbreak songs because they think that they can relate with the songs. But you have to put a stop to that. Because every day if you get up and remind yourself of what has happened, where are you going? Where are you going? And the deeper the pain is, the more time it's going to take to get over it, to get out of it. But as long as you know that you are going to get out of it one day, you will. And you will work towards that very naturally, very organically. Your life will function according to that. Change your music playlist. Dump all the songs that remind you of what happened. That is not escapism. Trust me. That is taking off some time to listen to good music, because your brain, the part of your brain that is so deeply affected, will keep reminding you of what happened. So you're not escaping from it. Sit with yourself. Sit with yourself and talk to yourself and ask yourself, how is this grudge doing me good? How is it making my life better? And if it's making your life better, cool. I'm not going to say anything. But I don't think it. No negative emotion, holding on to a negative emotion cannot make your life better. It won't. It will never make your life better. So sit with yourself and ask yourself that, okay, this person did this to me. It has completely changed my life. Or at least altered the course of my life. Or altered a specific part of my life in a way that is very hard for me to get over or get past. So dear brain, tell me, how good is it to remind myself of it every day? See, reminding yourself of what happened and cracking what happened are very different things. That person did that to me. I was so hurt. I was thinking like that at that time. Oh my God, it deeply hurt me. I was crying. That person didn't even realize. That person didn't even see. That person knew that how much I would be affected by this. They just didn't care. Versus, that person did this to me. I was so deeply affected. That person is stupid. That person knew that I would be affected and still they did that. That means, number one, they're not good for me. Number two, anything related to them emotionally is not good to me. Is not good for me, is not healthy for me. So I have to work towards forgetting good or bad memories related to that person. There's another very interesting thing about grudges, that if somebody who is a part of your everyday life has hurt you, and you have to see that person every day, it's very hard to get over what happened and continue living a normal life. It's very hard. But then comes the concept of boundaries. After forgiving, after saying to yourself, what this person did to me, reminding myself of what happened and what I went through is not worth it. I need to remember what this person is capable of. That is something I need to remember so that it doesn't happen to me again, so that I see this coming from far. See, we can never really control what somebody does to us. But we can be cautious. We can be cautious. So maintaining boundaries, very important. Very, very important. Trusting yourself that you will always resort to inner work when you are affected by somebody negatively. Trusting yourself that you are capable of coming out of no matter what happens to you. Even if you don't feel like that today, tomorrow you will come out stronger. Because you know, even if not now, or not after 2 days, or not after 2 weeks, or 2 months, but someday, in the near future, you will come out of it because you want to. If you're too comfortable feeling what you went through, nobody can help you. No psychiatrist, no counselor, nothing can help you. Grudges, you cannot really tell anybody how to get out of grudges, but there are definitely some basic things that we all can work on. The practice of forgiveness for yourself, telling yourself that you deserve to forgive that person because it's going to help you let go of what happened. When you decide to forgive the other person, your brain automatically starts looking for reasons that favor you, that favor your mental health. See, when you're grieving, when you're going through something negative, all your body is under stress. Your brain, your shoulders, your neck, your legs, your hands, your face, your eyes, your ears, your feet, your stomach, your heart, your lungs, everything is under stress. So you have to realize that you might not always come up with the best decision or the best means to help yourself. So you make up silly and stupid scenarios, stupid reasons to forgive the other person. That the person is stupid. They don't know what they're doing. And I am not in charge of going around teaching everybody that you shouldn't have done this is not how you should behave. That's not your business. We can't even control our kids. The people that we birthed. How can you control somebody else? Help yourself. Help yourself understand why is it so important to forgive. And why is it so important to not control the outcome, that how it does the other person pay back? Why do you want to attach yourself to that person again and again, that person who's so deeply hurt you, that this person did this to me, they have to pay for it? Why do you want to do that? Why? For the people who have endured actual crime, have been victim of crime or an act that is against the law, forgiving and taking action are two different things. You forgive the other person for your own sake, but you must do what's right. If you think that person is capable of doing this to somebody else, you must take immediate action. And forgiveness is always an act of self-love. Because when you have grudges, you develop triggers. And even if you let go of that grudge, triggers are the worst byproduct of grudges, because they are subconsciously embedded in you. And even if you don't realize that even if you think, okay, I'm over that situation, but you've held on to that situation for a very long time, you develop triggers. So do yourself this favor of not holding on to something so negative, because it's in your head, it is in your mental space, and it is going to affect you and only you and parts of your life. And it's going to develop triggers in your personality, in your behavior, and you're going to ask yourself that where is this coming from? You know, if there's a rotten fruit in a box, sealed box, in one corner of the room, eventually the whole room will start stinking. No matter how deeply you've shoved it, it will stink. The stink will fill up the whole room and eventually the whole house. And then everyone else entering your house will suspect this stink, this pungent smell. They'll ask you, where is this coming from? And even if you eventually get rid of it, that stink will still stay because it's been in your house for a very long time. That stink has seeped inside the walls and the furniture and the curtains and the mattresses and the pillows of your house. It's just, that's the same thing with grudges and developing triggers due to keeping grudges for a very long time. I have endured this myself, and I'm still working on some triggers. And every day I tell myself that I'm going to get better, because triggers are not going to make somebody pay for what they've done. Triggers are only going to affect me. Some people hurt you again and again. And that's the hardest thing. To get over. But have you really thought about why? I know you shouldn't think about why, but I'm sure it comes to your head. Why is this happening to me again and again? Because boundaries. You have not set your boundaries. You have failed to set your boundaries. Because pain does not come from somebody's actions. Pain comes from how their actions affect you. And if you give somebody the power, if you put your trust in somebody again and again, they can hurt you again and again. Their actions can hurt you again and again, because putting your trust in somebody is not going to change them, right? It's not going to change them. It is your decision. You chose to put your trust in them again and again, and their nature is to hurt. You know the kind of people they are. They're going to do that because that's how they are. So boundaries, very important. Very, very important. Clinging on to people that in some moments made you feel secure and you thought you could belong. Attaching ourselves to people even if they're toxic. These things come from deep unresolved trauma. And if you see that being hurt or getting betrayed is like a pattern in your life, it's a sign that you need to work on yourself. There's something inside you, not from a place of guilt. Trust me, do not do this. Self-introspection should never be from a place of guilt or self-blame. It should be from a place of nurturing, self-love and self-trust. Okay? Because the society that we come from, mental health is a very new concept. We are dealing with issues like patriarchy. We are dealing with issues like racism. People have endured trauma and have not worked on themselves, and thus they are spreading this toxicity everywhere, and they are not even open to help. So we go through a lot of things every day. We meet all kinds of people every day. And if you realize that there's a pattern in your life, sit with yourself and see why am I so susceptible? Why am I falling prey to this again and again? I am a good person. I don't want this in my life. I'm not asking for this. I just trust people and they hurt me. Why is this happening? Why I always fall prey to, unworthy people who are unworthy of my trust? This comes from deep unresolved trauma. Unresolved trauma. People who have sometimes felt misunderstood in their childhood. People who have felt that they have never been heard or not been heard enough. Chronic pain creates trauma. If there's something that has been happening in your life for a stretch of time, that creates trauma. And grudge is a byproduct in a lot of cases of unresolved trauma. If somebody on the road is rash driving and almost hits my vehicle, okay, and I know this person, I see this person sometimes around, I don't know, and I'm like, what did this person just do? He's an idiot. So in that moment, how I'm affected and how I react is my decision. I know road rage, in many cases of road rage, we usually function based on our reflexes and instincts. When we are scared or when we are almost hit by a car, we are startled, and whatever we do does not come from our conscious brain, comes from our subconscious brain. And subconscious brain is the place where all these deep traumas, unresolved traumas are embedded, which cause our triggers. And when the same kind of situation happens again, we are triggered. And we often never, we actually never react in the way that is healthy. I know what I'm talking about is messy and complicated, but I'm actually talking about something very complicated. This is a very complicated issue. Grudges are not superficial. Actually, grudges are superficial, but where and how a grudge is formed is not superficial at all. See, there's some narcissistic people, and for them to develop grudge, I don't think it's something so hard to understand. Because narcissistic people have the victim mentality. They're like, oh, I'm affected now. I said something to them, but now they said something to me, so I'm so deeply affected. They are in this victim mentality, constantly looking for validation, feeling good for them, about themselves. So I'm not talking about narcissists here. This is not about narcissists. This is about people who are empaths, who are good people, who very consciously treat others, who understand that how their actions could affect others, and then they react. But grudges, I'm telling you again, grudges develop triggers, which can be very unhealthy. Because after you're over that trigger, after you've done what you did, you come back to yourself feeling awful. Like, this was not me. Why did I do this? I am not this person. Why did I do this? Why does this keep happening to me? Why? I cannot even control myself in that moment. It just happens, but where did this come from? That's inner work. Asking yourself the right questions. It's like resolving a grudge is like reverse engineering. It is like reverse engineering. If you encounter the person who's hurt you, and you see that your personality changes, your tone changes, you're not able to be yourself around that person. See, being yourself, being open in front of that person is different. But the aspect of you that is strong and guarded, if you're not even able to do that, you are so repulsive around that person. And then you find yourself thinking that why do I change around this person? Start from there. Then what did I do? Come to that. And then see what my triggers are. And then where are these triggers coming from? The grudge that I still have, that I probably don't even realize, that how deep rooted that grudge is. I probably still have that grudge. And it has become a part of my muscle memory. I don't even consciously do this. I don't even like myself behaving this way, but I still do. So this has gone beyond my conscious control. So I need to go back to where this grudge is in my head. And why? What is the nature of this grudge? And why did I create this grudge this way? What am I trying to fill up? What am I trying to, I won't say heal, but make up for. And then you go back to that trauma. Reverse engineering. Like number one, change your behavior. Number one, change your behavior. Number two, identifying your trigger. Number three, identifying or pinpointing the grudge that you have. Number four, understanding the nature of that grudge. Number five, finding that trauma. 5 steps, reverse engineering. Because grudge is the middle part. Grudge is the middle part. Once you're over your traumas, once you've healed yourself, you don't hold grudges. Triggers stay longer with you, even if you're over the grudge, because it's part of your subconscious brain. It'll take more time to heal or to let go of, like physically. But once you're over the grudge, it will happen. It's like triggers and grudge, it goes together. But you need to start. You need to tell yourself that this is not healthy for me. I need to get over this. This is not good for me. I do not like this. I do not like feeling like this. I don't want to remind myself of what happened because I want to move past it, man. I have made a life of myself. Whatever happened, I want to do better in my life. That person did whatever they had to do. I have thrown them out of my life, or even if I have not been able to throw them out of my life, I am not going to let them do this to me again. So I'm going to set boundaries because this person is capable of doing this. So I'm going to set boundaries. Setting boundaries is very important. Forgiveness. Understanding forgiveness is an act of self-love. And you're not doing a favor to the other person by forgiving them. You're doing a favor to yourself. When you understand that, your perspective completely shifts. It gets healthier for your own good, for your own mental health. But always remember to take time. You cannot rush things, especially the things that are not in your control, like the subconscious. You meditate. That's how you can access your subconscious. Meditation is the solution for everything. Everything. Healing, understanding, knowledge, reception, perception, everything. So, summing up the whole episode, I would say grudge is not healthy. Grudge is not healthy. Not for you. You cannot control what happens to the other person who has made you go through this pain, leading to you holding a grudge against them. You cannot make them pay. You cannot, and you should not even focus on that. Why do you want to give more time of your life to them? They're not worth it. Focus on what's next. Next is healing. So the steps to it are: number 1, identifying the change of behavior around that person, or even if that person is brought into a conversation with you, or even if you suddenly find yourself thinking about that person, how do you change? How does your behavior change that you don't like, that you don't feel is part of your authentic self? Identifying that. Second, identifying your triggers. What is triggering me? Even if I don't think about this person, but sometimes I act in ways that I don't like. Why do I do this? Why do I sometimes get very angry? Though I'm not this angry kind of person, but why do I find myself doing that? Triggers. Third. What was the third one? Behavior change, trigger, grudge. Yes, the most important. Grudge. Looking for the grudges that you have in your head. That whatever you're holding on to, whatever memory you're holding on to being hurt from whoever has ever hurt you. Open up, look for those boxes of grudges, negative boxes. Negative boxes. Look at them. You have to do that. You have to go deep and you have to look for them if you really want to get over all this negativity that someone else has endured on you. So look for those boxes, grudge boxes. And then look at the nature of that box. Look at the nature of that grudge. How did you create that grudge? In what way did you create that grudge? Like if someone's hurt you, said something to you. Okay. See, if I'm being honest to somebody and that person gets hurt, that is not always my mistake. That cannot always be my mistake, right? That is something that I need to work on. That person needs to work on within their own self. Like if I'm telling somebody that, yeah, you've written well. I mean, this passage that you've written is nice, but there are a few things that, you could really work on. If I'm giving a very honest opinion and somebody gets hurt and holds a grudge against me, where do you think that's coming from? Either narcissism or deep-seated trauma. That they do not take criticism well, even if it's healthy. So that's how deep these things go. But you have to let yourself go through all this in order to, get over what you're really trying to get over. But you have to be focused on your goal, that I want to get over this, no matter how much time it takes. I'm not going to live my life like this. I am done. I know it hurts today, but it will hurt less tomorrow if I work on myself every day. If I give myself less time or a lot of time, I'm going to work every day. I'm going to be consistent because I want every day to feel better. And every day is not going to feel better. Some days are going to be the worst days. But if you know that if you've told yourself and established this within your head that you want to feel better, you will. And nothing is going to stop you. You are going to come out of this victoriously. I promise you. I promise you nothing. You come back to me and you tell me when you do this. I'm telling you, no grudge can ever hold you back if you choose to work on yourself and establish the fact that you are going to get out of this one day. No matter how long it takes, I want to get out of this, and I will, because I am strong enough and I'm worth it. That person did this to me once, and I'm not going to do this to me every day. It's going to hurt every day, but eventually it's going to hurt less, and then one day it's not going to hurt at all. But holding on to it, the act of developing a grudge, is the most unhealthy thing you can do. Open that box. Open up that box. And tell yourself, I'm opening this box of this grudge. I have to promise myself that if I'm opening this box, I'm not going to put myself or let myself float deep inside this black hole of what happened. I'm only opening this box to analyze the contents of the box. I'm not going to get swayed by the pain again. I'm opening this box to analyze the contents of the box, and I'm going to close it. And if I need to do this again, I will only open it to analyze the contents. See, it is impossible to go back to a painful memory and not feel the pain. But to only feel the pain is a problem. To not do something constructive about it is the problem. You know what I mean? Oh my god, this is a long episode. I don't know if you guys will sit. I don't know how many of you are still here listening to me. But grudges, it's a very complicated part. And I really feel for everyone, as much as I feel for myself. And this is not coming from a place of knowledge. This is coming from a place of experience. And I made this long episode because it takes time to get over things like these. I cannot just explain it. I'm not an expert. I cannot just give you a few sentences and crack the code for you. Because I didn't do that myself that way. I took a lot of time to understand what was going on. And slowly and steadily, I won the race. I won the bloody race, man. I'm over stuff. I'm still dealing with a few triggers, mind you. I am. But I'm getting better every day. And every day, every time I'm triggered, I tell myself, okay, yeah. Ting ting, I'm getting triggered here. I might not be able to completely control my behavior right now, but I know that I'm going to do better next time. Because I've identified my triggers and my brain consciously tells me, oh, you're getting triggered. Because I've worked long enough on all this. I've worked a lot on all this. So my body knows when I'm triggered. I just don't let a trigger flow through me. No, not anymore. Not anymore. I identify immediately when something triggers me. It's like fight or flight. Either I can just run away from the situation, and if I cannot, then I fight myself. I fight the trigger. I really try. I'm not always successful, but I really try, and I know I'm getting better. I know that for sure. I'm getting better because I will not let anyone do this to me. All the work, all the inner work that I've done, how much I've grown in life, I'm not letting anybody make me feel bad and awful about myself. I will not give anybody a reason to make me regret my own actions. I'm not going to let them, I'm not going to give them any control anymore. They've done the damage that they had to, and I worked on that. It's just subconscious triggers these are residual things in the subconscious, and I'm working on them every day, consciously working on them. Consciously, I sit and I think about this, and I tell myself and I help myself through meditation. I do all of this a lot through meditation, spending time with myself, finding time with myself to do justice to myself, to do justice of how far I've come, how much I've learned. Almost an hour. Yeah. I hope you are able to relate with this. I know this is a lot of data in one episode, but when you talk about grudges, you cannot just talk about grudges, can you? There's a lot in that box, and you will only find what's in that box if you open it, to work on it, and not just to reminisce and go through what happened, to actually constructively work on it. Open that box as many times as you have to. but not just to feel the pain, but to work on that pain, to help yourself get out of it, to help yourself get rid of it. Please. Resort to inner work. Resort to meditation. And if you need help with meditation, find ways on the internet. If you don't know how to meditate, find ways on the internet. I also made an episode a while ago on meditation. I'll just put a link for the episode if you are interested in my perspective of meditation and my way of meditating. Meditation brings answers. I did all this through meditation. People might have other ways. I did all this through meditation. I found all my answers through meditation, and I'm still finding answers because I still have a lot of questions. Because life is all about learning and growing, right? There's no end to the learning. New things will come and hurt you. But how you react and what you do with them is based on how much you've grown and healed internally. So next time when somebody hurts you or does something to you that you don't like, don't hold on to what happened and what you felt. Try working on what next. I think that's where we can start. Working on grudges. This brings us to the end of this episode. It's been a long episode talking about this very, very complicated matter of grudges. I hope you guys resonated with it. I don't expect you all to hang on till the end of the episode because it's very long. But if it helped you in any way, please let me know. Please let me know. We can always talk about things that affect you. And like I always say, I'm not an expert. I'm just here to tell stories. Things that I have experienced in life. My life stories. My healing, my growth. That is all. I am no expert. I am not preaching my methods here. But if what I have done, what I say, what I do changes or affects somebody's life for good, I think I've done a good job. I think I've done a good job. Yeah, you guys let me know. And from the poll that I conducted on my Instagram story, I will be choosing another another topic for my next episode from that poll, because I got a lot of votes for all different categories, but this was the most voted one so let's see what happens next. I wish you all the best. I hope you get through all the pain that you did not deserve. Nobody deserves to go through pain. I hope you come out of all these problems stronger than ever, because life will not stop pinning you down. There will always be somebody who hurts you, because you will always trust people. But boundaries, remember, healthy boundaries, even with the people you love, because they are people after all. Alright then, bye, take care.